This podcast is brought to you by the Spur of the Moment podcast.
As far back as I can remember, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, I am here to guide you through the intricate paths of building your business, embracing emerging technologies and navigating the startup world. I am Saul Tarazona, and this is Startup Corps, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurial insights and tech-driven success. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Startup Course. Today, we have Ignacio Lopez, an Argentinian entrepreneur, successful with few failures, but living the life in Miami. I'm really happy to have you here today, Ignacio.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. So, Ignacio, please, let's start this conversation about telling us about yourself, what you study, where you're coming from, what makes you an entrepreneur at the beginning.
Okay, so I was born in Argentina. I studied computer science. My first job was at KPMG. I was an advisor, an IT advisor. So you can imagine how it is to be working for one of the big four. I didn't like it. It was way too corporate and you're treated like an intern all the time. But I learned a lot, like how to make presentations, how to listen to a customer, how to be efficient. But then I moved to JP Morgan. I worked there as an information risk manager because, to be honest, when I was young, I did a lot of hacking.
Oh, great.
In the 90s, like when I was 13 and the first, Trojan horse, the back or if like someone in 1998, it was out. I did, a lot of damage. It was fun at the time. And I got a lot of knowledge about, about cybersecurity. In JP Morgan hired me to manage all their data security, risk assessment. I loved it. I love working for JP Morgan because what you do there is like, the scale. Like when you're an entrepreneur, you start with 0, then you scale to 1 million, 2 million. But JP Morgan, everything is like hundreds, thousands of million. And I loved like being able to work with countries, not companies. You work with countries. But after 2 years, I had this idea of building a social media app. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I tried like to have a Juarez forum, like different stuff that I did as a side project. But this time I had like this idea of, it was like the first, stages of social media, Instagram. It was in 2013, 2012. And I had this idea of selling through a picture. So I had this idea, like, instead of like clicking on an ad, like Google Ads was mainstream, why don't we embed like the buying option on an image? So you can buy directly from the image. And I feel like fashion, like, you want to see it on a picture, how does it look? And then you can buy it. So I started working with a friend of mine from kindergarten. I was returning from JP Morgan to my house and we met on a train and I started sharing, hey, I have this idea. He was like, excited about that. And he was working on Microsoft. So we start meeting after work and flashing out the idea. We built a deck. So basically what we wanted to do is a social media where people uploaded pictures of themselves and we will we'll create tags for people who were watching the picture to be able to buy the clothes. That was the concept. We did a deck. We presented to several investors, and we got a seed investment of, I think at that time was $200K. In Argentina, it's a lot.
It's a lot,
it is a lot. We were so excited. I quit my job on JP Morgan and started working on this. I can expand on my experience my first time as an entrepreneur. So we opened in Argentina. It took us a year. That's one of my first mistakes. It took us a lot. And we said, like, let's have everything ready before release. Big mistake. Like now it's like the MVP concept, like being agile, iterate. But when you're an entrepreneur, like the first time I didn't know, and I was from Argentina. I feel like in the US, like there's more education on how to be an entrepreneur. In Latin America, there's nowadays it's better, but in 2012 there weren't so many resources, people supporting entrepreneurs. So we made the bad decision to wait until we had like, yeah, let's have everything ready. And when we released, we had a challenge in getting adoption. But yeah, after 2 years, I moved to Uruguay, to Montevideo, and my partner moved to Chile. We were part of Startup Chile, and we released in Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay. But after 4 years, we couldn't grow as we wanted, and we decided to shut down. I moved to the US. I moved to Boston. I studied an MBA. And then I got a job at Konica Minolta, the Japanese company. I moved to San Francisco. It was an innovation lab. I was an entrepreneur. My job was
Fantastic.
literally fantastic. Like, my job was literally to use disruptive technologies like AI, blockchain, to build products. So I used drones to an AI to go through crops, in agriculture, and using image recognition to detect when a crop was unhealthy. Super fun project. We use AI to check the patient medical data, like your health records, and then we will find a clinical trial that could be a match for you. But then I'm an entrepreneur. I consider myself an entrepreneur. I wanted to have my business. So with the crypto boom, I was into crypto. I was into the crypto rabbit hole, and
What
with some
year?
friend, this was 2000. Yeah, I started in 2017. I got really deep in 2018, and then yeah, I quit my job at Konica Minolta. It was like a tech San Francisco job, a lot of flexibility, good paid, to build NFTs for US based artists. So the idea, because in the US you have more regulations, so we created a company here and we offer services for artists to build their own NFTs. Super fun. We sold a lot of NFTs, but then with the crypto crash, new regulations, yeah, we had an institutional account on FTX, so a lot of our funds were frozen. So we said like, yeah, no more, and we closed our company. And yeah, I started looking for a job, and that's tough. Like when you're an entrepreneur that you are used to do a lot, you are not a specialist. Like here in the US, they want like you to be laser focused on something, but that's not who I am. I like, yeah, to help wherever I can. I'm a pretty hands-on guy. And it took me a while to get a job, but I work now for Kaseya, a Miami-based IT company, and they really appreciate entrepreneurs. They don't care where you study. What they care is that you're a hustler. You like accountability. You can push initiative forwards. And for me, I like it. I consider myself an entrepreneur. Whenever I see like an issue, I prepare a pitch deck and I go to different areas and I say, hey, I found this problem. Maybe this is the solution. And Kaseya gives me the freedom, yeah, to be an entrepreneur. So that's basically a short overview of my experience. I live in Miami. I like it a lot. So yeah, happy to be
Okay,
here.
so let me ask you a few questions. So there's so much stuff that I have to ask you. Number one, let's start from KPMG. That experience in a consultancy firm that is quite famous, they work with countries.
Yeah,
Consultants have the $100 million
yeah.
contracts all over the place. So how hard was to get into that job for you?
It was my first job, so it's hard for me to like share and to be aware of, because I was out of the university. Um,
No
to be
corporate
honest,
experience.
no corporate experience. It was my first job, and that's what they like. Like they want young blood that they
Mhm.
can exploit. But it was fun because I was doing cybersecurity consultant. So I was like literally hacking the bank's system and then making super expensive presentations. Uh, to be honest, I didn't have a lot of troubles to get in. I don't know if it was because, yeah, I don't know, particular situation, but I didn't enjoy the work a lot, but it taught me a lot, like how to be accountable. They pressure you a lot and they expect a lot from you, even if you're a junior. So yeah, but after 2 years, I said like, no, enough.
Working hours per week, what would you
A
estimate?
lot, a lot. Yeah,
More than
like
40?
yeah, for sure. Over time, it's like a commodity. Yeah, it's what you're supposed to do. You can't
So,
leave before the partner. Like there's like this gossip. Yeah, literally.
very good, very good. Very interesting. So, the other fantastic experience was JP Morgan.
Yeah.
So, working for a bank doing cybersecurity, I guess you were kind of a white hat guy. What kind of hat were you?
Yeah, it's like a white hat guy. And but my focus was mainly on not only on like the security of the system, but the audits. You know, JP Morgan, huge bank, Argentina,
Mm,
during the time where we were like kind of anti-US. So the Central Bank of Argentina used to audit like pretty heavily. So, like, and what they audit the most is like systems. Like, they want to see what you do with your database, what you do with your customers' data, that nobody's changing anything from the back end. But for me, it was thrilling. I don't know. I had, and JP Morgan, I don't know how it's in other country, but in Argentina, they create a lot of like metrics about the country, like GDP growth, risk assessment. So I was able to be part of something that impact on my country, my own country. So I was working kind of like for Argentina, and that got me really excited.
and what happened with that feeling that they didn't like anymore US? What is the feeling now in Argentina?
Well, now with Milei, we are inclined towards the US. We are trying to get a free market agreement. Yeah, Milei kind of mimics what Trump does, like with like cutting federal expenses. Yeah, now we are aligned to the US, I
All
would
right,
say.
and the economic, the capitalism is coming back, and what do you
Hopefully,
feel the
I
economy
like
is gonna,
capitalism. I
how
like
the
it.
economy is gonna react to that?
So today's episode is sponsored by the Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. Come join us every Saturday. We're going to do this. We're going to sit here. We're going to talk about the news. Time to talk about the Minecraft.
Okay.
It looks
So,
bad. We're going to talk about movies. That new Joker movie is apparently terrible, and I want to see it so badly because I hear it's awful. We're going to make some jokes. We're going to have some laughs.
There's a lot of funny jokes in there. There's a lot of weird jokes in there. The Channing Tatum one will always make me laugh, especially when you hear the behind the scenes stuff. Like when you hear the behind the scenes story of how they just phoned them up.
We're occasionally going to have other people along for the ride.
A really fun fact, though, is I learned last year that that Coraline was Leica and not Disney.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I can see why you would make that
Yeah.
mistake. Yeah. Because it does seem like it's a different. And to be fair,
That would be a horrifying, terrible Disney movie.
it would be because yeah. And we're just gonna have a generally good time. George, do you have anything else you want to say about our podcast? Make people watch it.
We watch movies. Sometimes we watch shows, but we always have fun.
Here
On the
Okay,
spur, on the
spur,
spur, 3, 2, 1. On the spur of the podcast moment.
Yeah, we nailed it. Nailed
Spur
it.
of
Yeah,
the
it's
moment
fun.
podcast.
Yeah. It's Spur of the Moment podcast every Saturday. We nailed it.
You can expect awesome content like that.
We cut flawless promos every single week.
I'm sincere, I think like Argentina has a lot of challenges, and it will require someone with a strong will. And what I'm afraid is like the main problem of Latin America, that is corruption. So when there's like a corrupted government, there's not much, that the country can do, because it's inefficient. Money, it's moved to places that it shouldn't. So I don't know. I don't have like a conclusion. Let's see. Let's wait a bit more. I wish the best to Argentina. Yeah.
Okay, now let's shift gears to San Francisco, the ideal job in tech,
Yeah.
right there where the hustle of entrepreneurship, innovation technologies, emerging technologies, and the capital. So
after living that experience, would you think that that is the perfect place that a startup entrepreneur should move and do their business or not? Or maybe I'm wrong.
It's expensive. I feel like before it was the only place, like you go to San Francisco, and when it's crazy that it's real, everyone talks about money or startups. That's it. Like you go to a bar, you meet someone on the street, you talk about money or entrepreneurship. I loved it. My wife used to hate it because, like, yeah, I want to talk about something else. But everyone there is an entrepreneur or works for big tech or plans to be an entrepreneur. But I will say now you have different hubs, like depending on what you are doing. Like if you are in energy, you have Texas. If you are in entertainment, you have Miami, Florida. If you're into finance, you have New York. San Francisco is way too expensive, but I feel, I don't know, the vibes that you get, like all the events that are happening, it's a great place to be. Yeah, I agree. It's a great place to be. There's a lot of entrepreneurs from around the world. I met a lot of the Argentinian entrepreneurs, most of them who are like, I would say like now, yeah, not a corporation, but they did well.
Some
Yeah, I
unicorns or
loved
not?
it. Sorry?
Some unicorns?
Not yet. Hopefully, unicorn, no, not that I met in San Francisco, but some of them have like, yeah, 200 employees. They are doing really well. I loved it, but San Francisco is a particular city in terms of living. Like, okay, being an entrepreneur, yes, if you're young, single, but if you have a family, the city, it's like dirty, homeless, insecurity, like you all know. And during the pandemic, it went crazy. And that's when we decided to move to Miami.
All right, welcome to Miami.
Yes.
So how far do you think Miami is to be anywhere closer to Silicon Valley or that part of the
Pretty
entrepreneurship innovation?
far, but I think like we are in the right path. I feel like a lot of brain and capital move to Florida, especially to South Florida, Miami. Yeah. So before there were like I read some numbers. There were like 3 VCs, like angel investment firms, and now you have 42. So that's a lot. You have LinkedIn, Apple, Google moving to Miami. No income tax, low taxes. I like it. Yeah, I like
So
Florida.
where do you live?
I live in Coconut Grove.
Okay, and I guess your office is like in Brickell or as
Yeah,
well
Brickell.
over
It's
there.
pretty. Yeah, in Brickell.
So what do you think is the difference between Brickell and Coconut Grove?
Brickell is crazy. Coconut Grove is a residential area for families, a lot of park. Brickell is, I see Lambos because I'm on a, yeah, I have a window and I see Brickell Ave is like Lambos. Everything is bling bling, like how people are dressed up. I like it. It's very particular, but it's very different target. Coconut Grove, families, parks, Brickell, show off, bling bling,
And
and yeah,
the fun is where
and the
that's where the
fun.
fun is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. So can you tell us a little bit what you're doing for your company, what your company does right now?
Yeah, I'm a product manager. I'm responsible for one of the apps that is in Kaseya's portfolio. Like Kaseya acquires a lot of companies in cybersecurity, audit, networking, like to support IT department. Like you work for Apple, the IT department uses Kaseya's product, like the software they use.
Oh,
That's what we do. We sell software for IT departments. I'm a product manager, so I like with all my experience launching products, because when you're an entrepreneur, you launch product. I didn't do it in like now I'm pretty proficient on like agile methodologies, following a framework, processes. Before, when you're an entrepreneur, it's like, let's release it. You have a meeting with developers. This
in
is
two
what I
hours, let's do it.
yeah, let's do it. And now when you have a more mature product, when you have enterprise grade customer, it's a different life cycle. It's much more process oriented. We take our time. You have a lot of data to define the roadmap. Like I have customer calls, usage data, telemetry, the market, competitive analysis. So yeah, I like it. And Kaseya let me be an entrepreneur. I'm more into the business side than on a techie. I always enjoy more like, yeah, what we call here quote to cash, like how to make money. Okay, building a great product, I like it, but I like more to sell it. So I'm pretty involved in, like, we have 3,000 account managers. So we have a huge sales engine. It's a monster. Kaseya is known, is famous for the sales engine. So using those resources, training them, preparing them, teaching them how to properly sell our products. I loved it. Like working with marketing. I'm more on the go-to-market strategy. And whenever I see an issue, a problem, I pitch. Like I said, I prepare a presentation. Like now, I'm working on a huge presentation that I believe it will improve Kaseya's overall efficiency. And I already pitched that to 10 executives, and I will continue getting like buy-in. And that's another difference when you work for a corporation. It's like you need to get executive approval. There's like a chain of command. When you're an entrepreneur, it's let's do it. Brief discussion, and we do it. Now there's more bureaucracy. It is what it is.
It is, and that's the way. This is a huge company. I get
Huge.
there are so many countries and all the big clients.
Yeah.
So of course. So what do you have as an advice for entrepreneurs nowadays?
My main advance is find a problem, like be in love of the problem, not the solution. With my first, like I feel like with my two startups, I built a product that I thought the market wanted based on my assumptions. Like first, find the problem, validate it, make sure there's a problem that customers will pay to fix. Because I feel like in the past, the idea is like entrepreneurs, we had this idea, the solution, AI, like we are so in love of the solution. I'm bringing blockchain, but we don't pay attention to the problem. Then you go to the market, and that's why 9 out of 10 startups fail. Nobody wants to buy it. So my recommendation will be focus on the problem, not the solution. The solution, then it will come, especially nowadays that you have AI, coding, like no code tools. Focus on the problem, do early validation. That will be my advice. Second advice, but I feel that's everyone knows. Don't wait until having the best and robust platform. Do an MVP, a well thought MVP, not like something that won't work, because first impression matters. But do an MVP and then start cycling.
Iterate.
Build a piece. Yeah, iterate. Yeah, that will be my other biggest lesson.
Yeah, I have a few examples as well of startups that they were very passionate, and I was part of them, passionate about blockchain. So we just want to shovel. Do you want to put blockchain on every single thing that exists? No, it wasn't required.
No.
It was too cumbersome, too heavy on the hard drives, on the networking, and all the
Yeah.
stuff. So we didn't have AI then, so we could have done better. So talking about AI, and of course, this is so you are an entrepreneur, you know emerging technologies, you have worked in cybersecurity. So AI, do you think KPMG will get a little bit down because AI will be doing a lot of their work?
That's what like if you read the news, there are some LLM models that do research. I feel like KPMG, those big firms, consultancy, are good in doing research. Like you want to do a big project, it's not your core business. You ask one of the big fours to do all the previous analysis, present the plan. I feel like AI will help a lot of companies to avoid hiring KPMG, especially for a slide, like a presentation. It's crazy that you pay millions and the final outcome, it's a presentation. And I was part of it's like an executive doing like a 70-slide presentation, and that's what you pay for. Now AI can do a lot of those slides and can do the research. So I don't know how we will impact them. There are some core industry or core activities that will require human intervention. Like if we are talking about taxes, money, or like enterprise transformation where you implement new system, you need humans. But AI will disrupt all the industries. No doubt about it.
So on your top 3 startups that should exist, what would be the technologies that you will pick, the top three technologies that you
Oh,
will put?
that's well. Go to market, like automate call outreach, like bot, like sales. Again, what's and something that I learned here at Kaseya, what's the point of having an amazing product if you don't sell it, or if you don't have the capabilities to sell it? I would pay attention on how you will sell it. Like now you can use different workflows to automate, like email, call outreach, and then plan the answers, do A/B testing. You can put all the information on a CRM and do some mining and tie it to social media. So I will pay attention on orchestrating the go-to-market strategy, especially at the beginning, that you need, the first set of customers. There's a lot of tools to use it. Depending on how big you are, how much money, but you have a Salesforce Cloud, you can use Appear, and then ChatGPT for everything. Like build your personal assistants, train ChatGPT on whatever you are doing, the industry, what your product does, your competitors, your customers. It will help you to buy the buyer persona, the customer journey, edge cases. I will say ChatGPT, it's a must-have nowadays. Or if you want to use Gemini, like some of other, but same type of tool.
I've been trying every one of them, and I'm still keeping with ChatGPT for the things that I need, which is documents, presentations, research, and stuff. So fantastic. Ignacio, any last words for the entrepreneurs in this channel?
Well, I feel like for entrepreneurs is take risk, fake it till you. I feel like in the US there's a couple of like that is part of the culture, like fake it till you make it. I know some people don't like it, but when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you need to fake it until you make it. So that's something I always encourage people to do. I'm not saying lying. What I'm saying is sometimes you need to paint a picture that it's for selling the vision, where you want to go. So you have to be smart about it. And then it's like be hands-on, do whatever it takes, and then justify the means. If you have to call your customers, like don't be afraid of doing the work. Like you need to do the work. Call them, talk to them when you meet them on the lobby like do the work, do whatever it takes, because being an entrepreneur is super challenging. Again, the odds are against us. 9 out of 10 fail. So you can see like what are your odds to succeed. Build a good network. I feel like this podcast, LinkedIn, meetups are a good resource for entrepreneurs. And I'm always happy to help, to have a call and share my knowledge, help in any way I can.
Hey, one more question, one last question about having an accelerator or an incubator, being an entrepreneur. Tell me what do you know about it? What are you looking for? If you have one, if you know about.
So I was part of 2 accelerators, Startup Chile and Da Vinci in Uruguay. Like Startup Accelerator, I liked it. When you are an entrepreneur, like the first time, it's a good resource, especially the ones that don't take equity from you. But I would love Kaseya to have like a corporate VC arm where we accelerate companies and then we acquire them, but it's a tough sell. It's a really tough, because they don't see in VC, it's hard to see the return of investment. Like of 9 that fail, 1 will be a unicorn and you will do like a 1,000 exit, and that's how you pay everything. But corporations have less risk appetite. I would love, like PepsiCo has a great startup program, for CPG, that's like consumer in that industry, and they support startups, and then they do partnership, or sometimes they acquire that. They have an amazing, like a lot of like big corporations. JP Morgan has it. They have this startup accelerator where they give you resources, and sometimes they license your technology. So that's another alternative for entrepreneurs. All the big ones have
So all the great things that they can do, the reason why they should have one is because they will be able to first see what's happening, to own
the
the
market.
innovation, be the first one to contract, be the first one to license or buy them out. So it's a fantastic way that I don't see many companies here doing so much of investments on that side.
Yeah, I agree.
Fantastic. Ignacio, it was a fantastic pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, your advice. I'm looking forward to see you around.
Pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Hello, everyone. Please don't forget to follow, and like, and comment. Thank you so much.